He is back. Terence Bud Crawford has made a spectacular return to the gym.
Whatever you want me to, just let me know what to do. Or give me a sign, please show me something. Tired of talking to him, knowing he frontin'. Cry about life, be the one that can trap or the one hunting. Back in your own mind, waiting on the ball. I'm hunting with the word that cuts like a sword.
And could this return to the gym also mark a return to the ring for the great Terence Bud Crawford? Now 11 months on since that crowning achievement victory over Canelo Alvarez in September of 2025. But Terence Bud Crawford tilting on the edge of being a 39-year-old man. He turns 39 next month. And since that fight over Canelo Alvarez, he has spoken about the fact that he's retired and that he will not be returning to the sport. But you can't tell me it doesn't get those juices flowing when you see Terence Bud Crawford back in the gym doing stuff like this. And despite the fact that we continuously hear Terence Bud Crawford say that he is retired, there is another voice in the background continuously talking about the fact that Terence Bud Crawford is going to return to the ring.
I have a feeling he will be back.
And with a powerful guy like Turki Al-Sheikh, a guy that put on Canelo versus Crawford, with the amount of money and backing that Turki Al-Sheikh can give these fighters, a fighter could come out of retirement very, very easily and be persuaded very, very easily by the amount of money that he's going to be throwing at them. And we've seen, all right, it's not as though Terence Bud Crawford would be the only one. We've seen fighter after fighter, year after year, great after great, overstay their welcome in the sport, long past their use-by date, coming off losses, coming out of retirement to return to the ring just to get that itch back. All right, just to return to the ring, return to what they know. All right, we saw when Muhammad Ali came back to take on Larry Holmes. We saw when Bernard Hopkins came back to take on Joe Smith Jr. We saw, Hector Camacho taking on a retired for 6 years Sugar Ray Leonard. We've seen countless great fighters, and these aren't just any fighters. These are great fighters. Never know when enough truly is enough. And for Terence Bud Crawford, for all we know, him saying that he is retired can just be a bargaining chip to pry more money out of Turki Al-Sheikh. If you want me back in the ring, you're gonna have to throw a little bit more because I'm retired. You can a little bit more. I'm retired. Oh, I could be, we could very well be seeing that from Terence Bud Crawford. And this isn't a Terence Crawford that's looking old or feeling old. This is a Terence Bud Crawford back in the gym, looking very, very good, and a Terence Bud Crawford whose last fight was unanimously his best fight of his career, his best performance. He looked unbelievable. This wasn't a Terence Crawford that looked old against Canelo or lost to Canelo. This is a Crawford that would be sitting in the gym today, working out, feeling really, really good, saying, fuck, did you see me last time out? I've still got this. I need to get back in the ring and prove to some of these young guys that think that they can hang with me that, no, I'm still the boss around here. We've heard countless times Jerome Boots Ennis's name brought up.
I feel like, Boots' whole motion is built off of Terence Crawford. He should thank me, to be honest. I feel like he's a hater, because if there was no Terence Crawford at this pinnacle, who would they be talking about? Who would they be comparing him with?
And despite the fact that he has shut it down on a few occasions he's, maybe poked the bear a little bit, we know that Terence Bud Crawford is a very, very competitive individual, and you put together the fact that he is a competitive individual, there's a lot of money putting behind him, as well as the fact that he's coming off the career best performance. All of these elements can come together and really persuade a fighter to get back in the ring one more time. I've seen him at countless boxing events over the past 12 months. He was just there at Errol Spence Jr. versus Tim Tszyu. I've seen him in Australia quite a few times over the past 18 to 24 months. Could we be seeing a Terence Bud Crawford that wants to avenge this loss from Errol Spence Jr. and take on Tim Tszyu? Could we be seeing a Terence Bud Crawford that wants to go in there and take on Jerome Boots Ennis for those unified world titles? Because that's the name we continuously hear being brought up, in reference to Terence Bud Crawford. There's plenty of big fights at super middleweight. There's plenty of big fights to be had at super welterweight. And like I said, with a guy like Turki Al-Sheikh in the background, you've also got Canelo Alvarez, who wants a rematch against Terence Bud Crawford, I do believe. Could we be seeing this as a return to the ring for Terence Bud Crawford? It is a very, very interesting thought. Look, for me, I've said countless times on this channel since Crawford versus Canelo, number one, I kind of believe Crawford when he says that he is retired, but you never truly know. On top of that, I don't particularly want to see Crawford back in the ring. I don't think Crawford has anything he needs to prove to anybody. I think he is one of the greatest fighters we've ever seen. He's achieved in multiple divisions, undisputed in multiple divisions. He is coming off the best way to end your career, that win over Canelo Alvarez. And anything that you do now, for me, would only jeopardize or risk jeopardizing what you've achieved in your career. You go and take somebody on like Gervonta Ennis. Well, people will say, well, Gervonta Ennis, he's only had one or two big fights. He wasn't ready for Terence Bud Crawford. You lose to Gervonta Ennis, and all of a sudden, your resume, your time in the ring is going to be blemished by a fact that there's a loss at the end that you overstayed your welcome. Taking on Canelo Alvarez a second time, you either lose to Canelo Alvarez and you erase how good you did in the first fight, or you beat Canelo Alvarez and there's going to be more excuses made for Canelo Alvarez, or saying, well, it was a worse Canelo Alvarez than you fought in the first occasion. What was the point? So for me, I don't particularly want to see Terence Crawford back in the ring, but it is exciting. It does, get the juices flowing a little bit to see Terence Bud Crawford back in the gym and saying, could we be seeing this guy return to the ring? Somebody else that could be returning to the ring that we saw out and about this morning was Gervonta Tank Davis hanging with DJ Khaled.
You got a problem.
Yo, Tank, I got love for you. Yo, Tank.
Could we be seeing a possible return to the ring for Gervonta Tank Davis? The big one that's been spoken about for Tank is Zuffa Boxing and Shakur Stevenson. And for me, that would be an unbelievable fight to make. Some other boxing news. Joseph Parker could be returning to the ring as well very, very soon. He's had his ban lifted after that cocaine probe that happened a few months ago. That was quite a while ago now. From what I'm hearing, it was his nutritionist that tainted the food that Joseph Parker was eating, and that caused the adverse findings in his testing. As well as that, could we be seeing Devin, the American Dream Haney, after being ducked by Keyshawn Davis, go and take on Liam Paro? There's been talks between Camp Paro and Camp Haney about a unification fight, which I think is an unbelievable fight. But most importantly, could we be seeing Terence Bud Crawford make a return to the ring? Guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you want to see Terence Crawford back in the ring? Or do you think this is just Terence Crawford? He's been a top-level athlete for 20 plus years. He just wants to get back in the gym, get back into regime. He's a competitive guy, and he wants to hang back in the boxing gym. It could be any of those things. Guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Like, subscribe. I'm out of here. See ya!